Alright, let's get real for a second. Picture this. You're in a heated argument with a coworker who's just not getting it. Your heart's racing, and you're about one snarky comment away from saying something you'll regret. Or maybe you're stuck in a crowded room, feeling like the walls are closing in, and anxiety is creeping up your spine like an uninvited guest. We've all been there. Those moments where emotions threaten to hijack your brain and turn you into someone you barely recognize. But what if I told you there's a way to stay calm, collected, and in control, no matter how chaotic things get? What if you could flip the script and turn those high-pressure situations into opportunities to shine?
I probably shouldn't be sharing this with you. Knowledge like this is a bit like handing someone the keys to a Ferrari when they've only driven a bicycle. But you know what? Power is meant to be wielded wisely, and today I'm going to arm you with 20 dark psychology tricks that'll help you master emotional control in any situation 99% of the time. These aren't just random tips. They're rooted in the quirks of human psychology, battle-tested in real-world scenarios, and sprinkled with a bit of wisdom from some of the greatest minds in history. So, buckle up, because we're diving deep into the art of keeping your cool when the world's trying to make you lose it. Before we jump in, let's set the stage with a quote from the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the core of what we're talking about today. Mastering your mind so you can navigate any storm with grace. Whether it's a screaming boss, a passive-aggressive friend, or your own inner demons whispering doubts, these tricks will help you stay in the driver's seat. Ready? Let's dive into the first one.
Trick 1. The proximity shield. Imagine you're at a family dinner, and your uncle, yep, that uncle, starts ranting about politics, his face turning redder than the spaghetti sauce. You can feel the tension building, and you're pretty sure he's about to aim his next verbal jab at you. Here's a sneaky little trick to diffuse the situation. Sit right next to him. It sounds counterintuitive, right? Why would you get closer to someone who's about to blow a gasket? But here's the psychology behind it, and it's brilliant. When someone's sitting across the table, it's easy for them to lock eyes, raise their voice, and let their anger fly. It's like they're in a duel, and the table's their battlefield. But when you're sitting shoulder to shoulder, things get tricky for them. First, they have to physically turn their body to confront you, which feels awkward and unnatural. Second, being so close creates an intimidation factor. Suddenly, yelling feels too personal, too in your face. And third, sitting next to someone fosters a sense of connection, like you're on the same team, making it harder for them to see you as the enemy. I tried this once at a team meeting when my coworker, let's call her Karen, was gearing up to throw me under the bus over a missed deadline. Instead of sitting across from her, I plopped down right next to her, offered her a coffee, and smiled like we were old pals. The whole dynamic shifted. She mumbled her complaints instead of shouting, and we ended up having a productive conversation. It's like I'd disarmed her with proximity alone. The ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "The best fighter is never angry." By sitting close, you're not just avoiding a fight, you're subtly signaling that you're not here to escalate. You're channeling Lao Tzu's wisdom by staying calm and strategic. Next time you sense a conflict brewing, whether it's at work, with family, or even with a stranger, close the physical gap. It's a silent power move that can turn a potential explosion into a fizzle.
Trick 2. The mental reset button. Ever had a moment where your brain feels like it's stuck in a loop of worry? Maybe you're replaying that awkward thing you said in a meeting, or you're spiraling about a looming deadline. It's like your mind's a broken record, skipping over the same anxious thought again and again. Here's a dark psychology trick to hit the reset button. Visualize the end of the worry. This trick is rooted in the Zeigarnik effect, a psychological principle that says our brains obsess over unfinished tasks or thoughts. It's why you can't stop thinking about that email you haven't sent or that argument you didn't resolve. To break the cycle, imagine the situation as complete. Picture yourself sending that email, getting a response, and moving on. Or visualize the argument ending with a handshake and everyone walking away calm. By mentally finishing the scenario, you trick your brain into letting go. I once had a friend, Mike, who was freaking out about a job interview. He kept obsessing over what he'd say, how he'd mess it up, the works. I told him to close his eyes and imagine walking out of the interview room, feeling confident and getting a call with a job offer. He laughed at first, but when he tried it, he said it was like his brain finally shut up about the what-ifs. He nailed the interview, by the way. Sigmund Freud once noted, "The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water." Most of our anxiety comes from the unseen parts of our mind, looping endlessly. By visualizing completion, you're taking control of that hidden iceberg. When anxiety or anger starts looping, don't fight it. Finish it in your head. Create a mental movie with a happy ending and watch your brain hit the reset button.
Trick 3. The nod of agreement. Want to calm someone down when they're ranting or riling up a crowd? Here's a subtle move. Start nodding while they talk. It sounds simple, but it's like planting a seed in their mind. When you nod, you're signaling agreement, and humans are wired to mirror each other's behavior. If you're nodding, they're likely to start nodding too, which subconsciously makes them feel like they're on the same page as you, even if they're not. I used this trick at a community meeting when a neighbor was going off about a new parking policy. Everyone was getting heated, and I could see the room spiraling into chaos. So, I started nodding slowly, keeping eye contact, and smiling just enough to seem engaged. Within a minute, the guy's tone softened, and he started nodding back, almost like we were having a friendly chat. The room followed suit, and we actually had a productive discussion. Dale Carnegie, in How to Win Friends and Influence People, said, "To be interesting, be interested." Nodding shows you're engaged, which can de-escalate tension and make others feel heard, even in the heat of the moment. Use the nod strategically in tense conversations. It's like a psychological judo move. Redirect their energy instead of fighting it.
Trick 4. The question. Distraction. Let's say you're in a high-stakes situation, like a negotiation or a debate, and you need to throw someone off their game without them realizing it. Here's a trick. Ask a random question right before a critical moment. The human brain struggles to multitask under pressure, so a well-timed question can disrupt their focus and give you the upper hand. I once used this during a salary negotiation. My boss was about to counter my request with a lowball offer. I could see it in his eyes. Right before he spoke, I casually asked, "By the way, how's your new office setup working out?" It threw him off just enough that he stumbled, and I got a chance to restate my case. I walked away with a better deal than I expected. Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, advised, "In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity." A well-placed question creates a tiny moment of chaos, giving you room to steer the situation. Use unexpected questions to break someone's emotional momentum. It's a subtle way to regain control without escalating the situation. Trick 5. The wisdom anchor. When you're trying to calm someone down or make them trust your advice, mention that it came from a wise figure in your life, like your grandmother. People are more likely to accept advice if it's framed as coming from a respected, relatable source. It's called the halo effect. We associate wisdom with certain archetypes, like grandparents, even if the advice is straight from a self-help blog. I tried this when a friend was freaking out about a breakup. I said, "My grandma always told me, you can't control what others do, but you can control how you respond." She nodded, took a deep breath, and started talking through her feelings instead of spiraling. Grandma's advice worked, even though I totally made it up. Confucius said, "By 3 methods we may learn wisdom. First,
by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. Framing advice as inherited wisdom taps into that easy imitation method. Anchor your advice to a wise figure, real or not, to make it land with more impact. It's a shortcut to credibility.
Trick 6. The favor flip. If someone's giving you the cold shoulder or seems upset with you, try this. Ask them for a small favor. It could be something as simple as, "Hey, can you pass me that water bottle?" Psychologically, people struggle to dislike someone they've helped, even in a tiny way. It's called the Ben Franklin effect. Doing a favor for someone makes you feel more positively toward them, because your brain rationalizes, "I must like this person if I'm helping them." I used this on a grumpy neighbor who always ignored me. One day, I asked if I could borrow his rake for a quick cleanup. He grumbled, but handed it over. The next time I saw him, he actually waved and started a conversation. One small favor flipped the script. Benjamin Franklin himself said, "He that has once done you a kindness will be more ready to do you another than he whom you yourself have obliged." This trick leverages that human quirk to diffuse tension. A small favor can melt hostility. Use it to turn adversaries into allies, one borrowed pen at a time. Trick 7. The yawn trap. Ever feel like someone's watching you, maybe judging you, and it's making you anxious? Here's a way to find out without confronting them. Yawn conspicuously. Yawning is contagious, but only if someone's paying attention to you. If you yawn and they yawn back, you've got proof they're locked onto you. This can help you gauge whether someone's anger or attention is directed your way, so you can adjust your approach. I tested this at a coffee shop when I thought a guy was staring at me. I yawned dramatically, and sure enough, he yawned too. Turned out he wasn't angry, he was just curious about my laptop sticker. Knowing he was watching helped me relax and strike up a chat. Plato said, "We are twice armed if we fight with faith." The yawn trap gives you the faith of knowing who's focused on you, so you can respond strategically. Use the yawn trap to read the room. It's a sneaky way to know who's got their eyes on you, so you can stay one step ahead. Trick 8. The adrenaline ally. If you're in a tense situation with someone, like a date where you're both nervous or a meeting where stakes are high, do something that spikes adrenaline. Go for a brisk walk, share a thrilling story, or even suggest a quick game. Adrenaline boosts arousal in the brain, which people often misinterpret as excitement or connection, making them feel closer to you. I once took a nervous client to a rooftop cafe with a stunning view. The slight thrill of the height got us both energized, and what could have been a stiff meeting turned into a lively brainstorming session. The adrenaline made us feel like a team. Nietzsche said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." A controlled adrenaline rush can strengthen bonds and shift emotions from tense to positive. Use adrenaline to transform nervous energy into connection. Pick activities that get the heart pumping to create instant rapport. Trick 9. The bookend effect. When you're trying to stay calm in a chaotic situation, focus on controlling the beginning and end of your interaction. Psychology shows we remember the start and finish of an event most vividly, while the middle blurs. So, if you're in a tense meeting or argument, start with a calm, confident tone and end with a strong, positive note. This shapes how others perceive the entire encounter. I used this during a heated project review. I opened with a joke to lighten the mood and closed by summarizing our progress calmly. Later, my boss said I handled it like a pro, even though the middle was a mess. Aristotle noted, "Well begun is half done." By nailing the start and end, you control the narrative, even in emotional chaos. Bookend your interactions with calm confidence.
It's like framing a messy painting with a beautiful border. It makes the whole thing look better.
Trick 10. The highball strategy. When you're trying to get someone to agree to something in a tense situation, start with an outrageous request. If you want them to compromise, ask for something so big they'll say no. Then, when you follow up with your real, reasonable request, they're more likely to agree because they feel guilty for rejecting you once. I used this when negotiating a deadline extension. I asked for 2 weeks, knowing it was absurd. When my boss said no, I asked for 3 days, and he agreed instantly, relieved it wasn't 2 weeks. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims for his deceptions." The highball strategy uses this simplicity to your advantage. Aim high to make your real goal seem reasonable. It's a psychological nudge that works in negotiations, arguments, and more.
Trick 11. The paraphrase power. When someone's upset or venting, paraphrase what they say and repeat it back. This shows you're listening, which calms them down and makes them feel understood. Just don't overdo it, or you'll sound like a parrot. I used this with a friend who was furious about a coworker. I said, "So, you're saying she took credit for your work, and that's why you're so frustrated?" She nodded, calmed down, and opened up about how to handle it. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Paraphrasing is active listening that diffuses emotional tension. Reflect what you hear to show empathy. It's a simple way to turn a rant into a real conversation. Trick 12. The mirror technique. To calm someone down and build trust, subtly mirror their body language. If they're leaning forward, lean forward slightly. If they cross their arms, do the same after a moment. This creates a subconscious sense of connection, reducing their emotional intensity. I tried this with a nervous colleague during a presentation. I matched her relaxed posture, and she visibly relaxed, trusting me enough to share her ideas later. Carl Jung said, "The meeting of 2 personalities is like the contact of 2 chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." Mirroring creates that transformative connection. Mirror subtly to sync with someone emotionally. It's like a secret handshake for trust. Trick 13. The teaching edge. When you're feeling overwhelmed, teach someone what you're learning. Explaining something forces you to organize your thoughts, which calms your mind and reinforces your understanding. It's a win-win. I used this when studying for a tough exam. I taught my roommate the concepts, and not only did he get it, but I felt way more confident and less stressed. Seneca said, "While we teach, we learn." Teaching is a powerful tool for mastering your own emotions and knowledge. Share what you know to solidify your calm. It's like hitting 2 birds with 1 stone, helping others while helping yourself. Trick 14. The warm handshake. When meeting someone in a tense situation, ensure your hands are warm before shaking theirs. Warm hands signal warmth and approachability, which can instantly lower their guard. I once shook hands with a skeptical client after warming my hands on a coffee mug. He smiled, and the meeting started on a positive note, despite his initial grumpiness. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Our chief want is someone who will inspire us to be what we know we could be." A warm handshake inspires trust and sets a positive tone. A warm handshake is a small gesture with big impact. It's your first chance to signal calm and confidence. Trick 15. The eye color focus. Maintaining eye contact can be tough when emotions are high, but it's crucial for staying in control. Here's a trick. Focus on their eye color. It forces you to look into their eyes without feeling awkward, projecting confidence and calming the situation. I used this during a tense family argument.
By noting my sister's green eyes, I stayed composed, and she eventually softened her tone. Socrates said, "Know thyself." Focusing on eye color helps you stay grounded in yourself, even in emotional storms. Use the eye color trick to maintain confident eye contact. It's a subtle way to hold your ground.
Trick 16. The laughter glance. In a group setting where emotions are running high, watch who people look at when they laugh. People glance at those they feel closest to, revealing alliances and easing tension through shared humor. I noticed this at a tense office party. When a joke landed, my boss glanced at her favorite team member, which helped me understand the group dynamics and navigate the evening smoothly. Victor Hugo said, "Laughter is the sun that drives winter from the human face." Laughter reveals connections and diffuses tension. Pay attention to laughter glances to read relationships and use humor to calm the room.
Trick 17. The silence strategy. If someone's holding back or getting defensive, ask a question and stay silent. The discomfort of silence, combined with eye contact, often prompts them to share more to break the tension. I used this with a quiet colleague who wouldn't open up about a project issue. I asked, "What's holding us back here?" and stayed silent. After a few seconds, he spilled the details, and we solved the problem. Buddha said, "Silence is an empty space, and space is the home of the awakened mind." Silence can unlock truths and calm conflicts. Embrace silence as a tool to draw out information and diffuse emotional barriers. Trick 18. The snack tactic. When tension's brewing, start eating something. Eating signals comfort and safety, which can subconsciously calm others around you. It's hard to stay mad when someone's casually munching. I tried this during a heated roommate meeting. I grabbed a bowl of chips and suddenly everyone's tone softened as we passed the bowl around. It was like the chips were a peace offering. Epicurus said, "We do not so much need the help of our friends as the confidence of their help in need." Eating creates a shared, confident atmosphere. Use food to break tension. A snack can turn a fight into a friendly chat. Trick 19. The path clearer. In a crowded, stressful environment, look where you want to go. People subconsciously follow your gaze and move out of your way, reducing your anxiety and giving you a sense of control. I used this at a packed concert. Instead of pushing through, I fixed my eyes on my destination, and the crowd parted like magic. It was like I'd mastered telekinesis. Lao Tzu said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Your gaze is that first step, guiding others to clear your path. Use your focus to navigate chaos. Where your eyes go, your path follows. Trick 20. The affirmation. Anchor. To calm yourself or others in a heated moment, pick a word they say and affirm it with a nod or smile. This conditions them to feel positive about that word, subtly shifting the emotional tone of the conversation. I tried this with a stressed-out friend venting about work. Every time she said overwhelmed, I nodded and smiled. Soon, she was using the word less and focusing on solutions instead. William James said, "The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another." Affirming a word redirects the conversation to calmer waters. Use positive affirmations to steer emotional conversations. It's a gentle nudge toward positivity. So there you have it. 20 dark psychology tricks to master emotional control in any situation. From sitting next to an angry uncle to yawning to catch a watcher, these strategies are like a Swiss Army knife for navigating life's emotional roller coasters. They're not about manipulating others for selfish gain. They're about understanding human psychology to create calmer, more connected interactions. Let's end with one final quote from Viktor Frankl. "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." These tricks give you the tools to widen that space, to choose your response wisely, and to grow into someone who can handle anything life throws at you. Next time you're in a tense situation, try one of these tricks. Maybe you'll sit next to the angry person, nod to calm them down, or munch on a snack to diffuse the vibe. Whatever you choose, you'll be the one in control, turning chaos into opportunity. Now go out there and own your emotions like the badass you are.